can't hear you now.
I can hear. No,
I
you
can
can hear me now. Yeah.
Wonderful. Everyone heard me sing. Awesome. What a way to start a Monday. I just gave a really invoking, really motivational speech that you all just missed, unfortunately. But the gist of it was, we are in week 8. How exciting. We're almost there. I'm locked down here in Victoria, so you may see 2 little friends walking past who are doing remote learning, because we are in lockdown and have had the amazing news that we have been extended for yet another week. And I think us teachers here in Victoria have made our peace with the fact that we probably won't be back this term, and we're looking at term 4. So what perfect timing for a webinar on how to really re-invoke that engagement, that excitement, that anticipation for these remote learning lessons to finish off the term strong, and really enjoy the last couple of weeks with our students. Now, what you can see on my screen at the moment is a way to connect with my class. It is fully interactive. Please do join. We won't do anything scary about taking you off mute and you having to speak to the group. That's just me. You've got my voice in your ear for the next hour. But we do want your thoughts. We do want you to interact with the activities, much like our students do on remote learning. And we're going to talk about some of these tried and tested lessons that we've used in remote learning to help engage excitement and anticipation for your learning. So if you haven't joined my class before, this is GoToWebinar. This is the platform that we use our webinar on, but I'm delivering the lesson content and the activities to you on a different piece of software. It's called Lumio by Smart. Now, if you're not familiar with it, don't worry about it. It's free. So you can use it for free. It's got up to about 10 lessons. You can use it for free. There's free content on there. You don't even have to make your own. You can use my content from today. I'm going to share that with you. And I'm going to show you really quickly how to log in as a student. If you want to know how to build these lessons or how to find these ready-made lessons that I'm showing you today, because I didn't build any of these lessons. I found them and edited them. If you want to learn about that, then come to our Lumio 101 webinar, which I'll talk to you about in a second. But let's get you jumping on. I can see some of you in my class at the moment. I'm going to just show you really, really quickly. Oh, and I did say some of you will be winning some smart packs. Now, our winners from last week haven't been contacted yet. But they will be this week. We're going to do it all together. So if you are one of those amazing winners from last week who did some awesome work, and you're still waiting for your smart socks or smart mug, no fret. We will contact you this week. All right, so how on earth do you join? I can see most of us have joined already. But for those of you who are new to this software, Lumio software, I'm going to walk you through it right now. All right, so let's make this a bit smaller. And this is my 3rd session, live lesson session today. So if I am a bit loopy, you'll know why. Okay, so hellosmart.com. So you're joining me as a guest. So you're joining me like my students would. So they go to hellosmart.com. It doesn't matter if they've got a laptop or an iPad or they're using, their parents' phone. It does not matter. As long as it's internet enabled and they go to the internet, they can join your class ID. So hellosmart.com. Now, I make it easy for my kids. Most of my students use iPads. I did a poll at the start of remote learning and found out they all use iPads. So I created a little QR code, and we have these available for you that go directly to HelloSmart. So if you do want them, feel free to pop it in the chat. And if everyone wants them, we'll pop them in the EDM that we'll send out after this. Now, this is being recorded, and I am also going to be sharing the lesson content that I showcased today. So you'll get all of it, the recording, the lesson content. So if I'm going quick, don't stress about it. Now, Kendall is on manning the chat today. So she's actually going to pop into the chat, hellosmart.com, and my class ID to show you how to join. So if you miss this now, don't stress. All right, so you're going to join me as a guest today. So join as a guest. Today, we're not going to sign in. We're going to join as a guest. And then you're going to type in my class ID, which is 313913. And so every teacher has their own class ID. So when you're running a lesson, and we're going to type in my first name, Beck. When you're running a lesson, your students will use your class ID to join your class. Now, I can see a few more of us are joining, which is awesome. I've just popped in there as well, and I've started an activity for you already. So you'll come into the thick of it. You'll come into what we call is a response. Now, a response is an assessment tool, but I use it as an SEL check-in sometimes with my students to find out how they're feeling, what their emotions are, how they're handling things, but I also like to use it as a formative and summative assessment. Why do I like to do that? Well, it marks it for me. So I can pop in 5 different types of questions: a multiple choice, multiple answer, polar opinion, short answer, or true or false. And I can actually pop the answers in as well. I can use images for questions and answers as well. So for my littlies, I can still use it. I can indicate which answer is correct, and it actually marks it for me. So once the students have completed it, I can then Excel out all of their data and all of their results, and it's marked it for me, and I can differentiate on the fly, which is awesome. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So if you are answering, so I would like you to type in your short answer here and click the blue arrow. And once you're done, you're going to click submit all answers. So I'm going to minimize my student view. I'm going to bring up what I can see on my screen, which is here, which is all your amazing responses. So how are you feeling about remote learning? Reinvigorated / sick of it. I like it. Me too. I'm over it. Yep, a lot of us are feeling like that. Mixed feelings, yep, I like that one. Getting better at it, that's great. That's great news, getting better at it. And you know what? The skills that you're learning now, and the amazing, we have a wonderful education advisor called Sue Beveridge, and she calls educators, or she calls us teachers, bowerbirds. We like to pick wonderful things out of different places, and we like to use different platforms and different ideas and different skills from different places, and we actually are really gifted and talented at wrapping that all up into an amazing learning experience for our students. So never fret. All of the things you're learning about and all of the things that you're upskilling in, you'll actually translate that back when you go into the classroom, and it'll give you appreciation of the true reason why we got into teaching, is those connections with our students. And that's something that we need to try and replicate in our remote learning. All new to me. I'm loving it. I love that there's people that are loving it. I'm a little demotivated, absolutely. That comes with it, comes with the territory. We just surpassed 200, well, we surpassed it quite a while ago, 200 days in lockdown, 6 months of remote learning. I feel ya, I know it. I'm worried. Yep, there's a lot of stress and anxiety that comes with it. Either it's the stress and anxiety of how do I deliver engaging remote learning, or how am I going to assess my students, because reports are coming up, let's be honest. Term 4, New South Wales don't look like they're getting back into the classrooms for quite some time. Victoria are on a knife edge, we're not sure. We're going to have to report on our students' work. How are we going to do that? Collating all of those assessments and that data and that student authentic work samples in remote learning. Or are you worried about your students? Are you worried about your students, how they're feeling, how they're coping, the learning loss? All of it. So yes, lots of stress and worry over it, but soldiering on. Yep, I hear it. Tired and exhausted. Absolutely, you hate it. So that's how we're feeling about remote learning at the moment. Lots of mix in there. And it's great that you're all here. I love it, because if everyone was super stoked about remote learning, then no one would be here. And if everybody hated it, then no one would be here. And I love that you're all a mix of emotions. What do you miss about face-to-face classes? Social interactions, my students, the kids, my friends, my peeps, seeing the students. That summary, connection to my peers, to my colleagues, to my friends, to my students, to my families, to my community. And that's what is so, so important, and what we need to really get back to in remote learning, because that's what's going to motivate us, that connection, that life, that fire, our why. The connection. I saw it. Good on, good job. What year level do you teach? Years 7 to 10. Adult training, awesome. Primary school, amazing. So we've got prep right through, kindergarten right through to adult training. I love it. And this translates. So Lumio translates from universities using it in their teaching and learning, because they're now blending remote students in other parts of the globe with students that are on campus. So we did that in South Australia the other day. We did lots of training with universities over there, to adult training and language training. So we have lots of language schools that use this software to be able to add that interactivity, that collaboration. right down to our youngest year levels. I love it. And that's all they want to do is connect. And if you do a poll with them, do a shout it out with them and ask them what their favorite thing about remote learning is. I guarantee you most of their answers will be that they get to see you or they get to see their peers, their friends. And they're yearning for that connection as well. Have you used Lumio? Let's have a look. No, a few of us, yes. None of us don't know what that is, which is awesome, which means I did my job at the start because I did rush into it last week and dove straight in and didn't really give anybody context around Lumio because I was that excited about sharing it with you. So if you haven't used Lumio, that's awesome. It's free. And if you join our Lumio 101 class, which I will show you in a minute, you'll actually walk through with me on how to set up an account and how to build content. So a little bit about me. My name is Beck Woolno. If you were here last week, you get the pleasure of me running this session again. Next week, you've got someone new, which is exciting. You've got Molly Turner. I've been in education for 16 years. I finished up my career as a digital pedagogical coach. It's Monday afternoon, which is just a fancy way of saying I was on class for 3 days, and then on 2 days of the week, I supported my teachers from K to 12 on adoption of technology and how using that right technology in the right way will actually enhance and augment the teaching and learning in our classroom and actually achieve the pedagogical goals our school had set. I was a leading teacher too in digital leadership, a Seesaw ambassador, love my Seesaw, Microsoft Innovative Educator and Apple Educator. If you want to connect with me, my email is down the bottom, and so is my Instagram handle. I do post a little bit. I'm not great on social media, but feel free. I pop up any sort of cool ideas that I see or that I use, as well as little events like this and webinars and training and PD. Amazing. All right, here's our webinar. So we did last week, we putting the fun back into remote learning. Today, we are actually doing this one here. Let me grab my pen. This one here, so igniting your students' excitement and anticipation for remote learning. Next week, this one is breaking remote learning fatigue, and that's run by Molly Turner. But if you're new to Lumio or you're new to the software and you've never used it before, feel free to join one of our Lumio 101 sessions. We did one this morning at 8:15. I know that some of you were in that session. Thanks for joining. Hopefully it helped. And hopefully today you can get some ideas. But we are running one on Friday at 1 p.m. We're testing out that time. We weren't sure. A lot of us use Friday afternoon as well being afternoon. And then again, next Tuesday, the 7th of September at 3:15. And so please feel free to join those. If you can't make them live, don't stress, register and you'll get the recording. And they will walk you through. But we'll also give you some documents of how to, step-by-step guide on how to set up your account. All right, let's get into it. Students don't need the perfect teacher. They need a happy teacher who is going to make them excited to come to class, remote or face-to-face, and grow a love of learning. So that's what we need to remember. We're not perfect. We're not going to get this nailed. We're not going to be right every time, and not every lesson is going to be amazing. But we need to be there, and we need to be happy and joyous and connect with our kids, and because at the end of the day, that's all they want. All right, so how do you bring your excitement into your lessons? I'm asking you. So if you can find a bubble, I'm going to put everyone in one team because let's be community about it. I want you to find a bubble. If all the bubbles are taken, don't worry about it. Pop it anywhere around on the page. But how do you bring excitement into your lessons? Now, you can talk about remote learning or you can talk about face-to-face because we all are yearning to get back there. How do you bring that excitement into your lessons? I had an amazing teacher friend once who used to dress up when she was doing punctuation as a Kung Fu trainer, and she would do Kung Fu punctuation. And she would also dress up as a scientist when she did science, and she had names and characters for everybody. Amazing things like that. So if you are, I probably should actually tell you how to interact with this content. My apologies for doing that and just going off on a tangent there. So if you can see, I've got my teacher view over here. My teacher view is on the right, and my student view is on the left. And what you can see is you can see some tools down the side. Now, if you're on your phone, don't stress, you probably can't see the tools, but you can see 3 dots there. Click those 3 dots and your tools will actually appear. If you've got your phone up this way, turn it sideways and it'll actually make it bigger for you. Click those three dots. They're called the overflow button, and then your tools will appear. And I can see some amazing ideas coming in. You can see some pens as well. Some people are getting confident with the ink. All right, so being curious, yes. TPR activities. I might have to ask what that one is. TPR activities. So this is, Cynthia, do you mind coming off mute and explain to me what TPR activities are? Or if you don't want to come off mute, that's fine. You can actually use the text box and just elaborate on what TPR activities are. Multimodal, absolutely. Movement and play, that is my favorite. Get that movement in there, get that excitement, that competition, that physicality, that kinesthetic learning. Games, I love mixing new activities for something different with known activities, being excited by it myself. 100% hands-on games, love it. Videos, games, Lumio interactive worksheets. Stop it, who is this? Dawn, you're going to have to share some activities with me, please. I'd love to see some of those wonderful activities. Immersive, open-ended activities, yes. Where they can go and they can create and they can be themselves and they can express their learning in ways that speak to them. Cooking class via Zoom every fun Friday morning. I love it. Oh my goodness, who is that? Nadine, that sounds awesome. What kind of things do you cook? That would be awesome. I would love that. How much fun would that be? I would look forward to Friday. I bet your students look forward to Friday morning every single week. Gamification, love it. Making silly, I want to say quotes, awesome. All right, some amazing ideas there. I love it. So we're going to try and actually integrate some of these ideas into some of the activities that we're going to look at today. So what is Lumio? Just a really quick brief overview because I didn't do it last week and some of us were wondering. You can transform ready-made content that's already built for you. You can build from scratch, or better yet, what I have been doing is been taking my PDFs and my PowerPoints and my Google Slides and uploading it into Lumio. So all of that content that you already have is all you need to do is upload it to your Lumio account and you can actually enhance it and you can add gamification into it. So there's PDFs, there's wonderful PDFs and PowerPoints that you've downloaded or bought from Teachers by Teachers or TeachStarter or Twinkle. You can actually add gamification inside of it. You can put YouTubes inside of it so that they can watch them safely. And you can put collaborative activities and handmade activities inside of those PDFs and PowerPoints that you have purchased and downloaded from the internet. Amazing. You can enhance them with YouTubes. Now, YouTube is a wonderful tool, but it's really dangerous to use, particularly in remote learning, because we can't control it. We can't cover up anything, and we can't control the ad at the front. Whereas when you use it in Lumio, it actually strips all of that out and pops just the YouTube we want to watch inside that PDF or inside that lesson flow for the students to access from home. So really, really wonderful way for students for you to leverage that tool for students learning. We engage the students using games, activities, and collaboration, which we saw a little bit last week. And we deliver lessons asynchronously or synchronously, on demand or live lessons. And we know we can go to any students, anywhere, on any device, and they can access it at any time should you allow them to. All right, I'm going to pop through these because we're running out of time. So remote learning isn't simply mirroring face-to-face lessons. We talked about that a little bit last week, but it's a complete change of practice. It's not about trying to do what we were doing in the classroom just through a screen. It's about changing our practice or changing the way we look at our remote learning. Are we using the time with our students to just power through those teacher directions and try and get across everything they need to learn and everything they've got to do that day? Or are we actually really cherishing those moments and reflecting on the learning and applying the knowledge to activities or connecting with our students and getting them to connect with us? And so that's what we really need to pare back for our remote lessons, our live lessons, is actually trying to really maybe do that flipped learning, record the teacher direction part and give students access to that and practice, and then in the live lessons maybe apply those skills or reflect on their learning and what areas they still need support in, because we're stressing ourselves out and our students are missing quite a lot when we're trying to power through that teacher direction in the live lessons. All right, so our remote learning goals are to build connections, interact, remote learning should promote building connections, interactive and collaborative activities, validation of students' contributions, engagement, and instill love of learning in our students, and empowerment of student voice and choice. So I'm going to try and show you some lessons today that I actually do with my kids, K to 12. And some of my teaching network friends have shared some of their lessons with me. Now, this one's fun. We're going to go on a quick journey. I'm going to actually let you choose our journey. But before we do that, I want to do a really quick icebreaker. I've started to shout it out for you. We're going to go on a journey. We're going to go on a hike because I'm stuck here in Melbourne in the city itself. Getting out my 5K radius does not get me to anywhere I can actually go hiking. So I'm dreaming of hiking at the moment. So let's pretend we're going to go hiking together. And I want you to choose one. You don't have to do all three. I want you to choose one of these areas, either be analytical, creative, or practical. So I want you to, in your analytic, if you're going to be analytical, I want you to explain the benefits of hiking. I want you to point out some of the benefits that you get from hiking. In the creative section, I want you to show me an alliteration. So see if you can do an alliteration based on hiking. And then in the practical, I want you to talk about the essentials, the things we desperately need for hiking. So those things that we really, really need if we are to go hiking. Hiking high hurts heels. I love that, Ange. That's awesome. Connections to nature is definitely a benefit. Definitely a benefit. Now, you all know I love a shout it out. The reason I love a shout it out is because it gives everybody an opportunity to have a voice, and it also ensures that all of their contributions are validated because they're on my screen, they're being shared with the class, and regardless of whether I read it out or not, it's there and it's being validated. But I often forget that I can give them choice, and choice is really important to embed in our remote learning, because that's what they lose in remote learning, is that choice of what they want to do. And so being able to use the categories to actually give them that choice. They don't have to do all of them. Just choose your favorite. Maybe you're a creative person. Maybe you're a practical person. Maybe you're an analytical person, and you gravitate towards one. That gives them that choice. So let's have a look at some of our other ones. So some of our benefits: fitness, definitely. Health and fitness, great for the mind and soul. Time for reflection, sense of purpose, something you can control. Yes, I love that. Healthy way to exercise. Remote learning in its truest form. You could not be more right, Ange. Remote learning in its truest form, 100%. Now, this is my favorite because I'm a creative, so I would navigate towards the alliteration. So hiking high hurts heels. I love that. Hiking helps health. Brilliant. Hiking hot, huffing healthy happiness. Oh, I love it. I love that everybody's gone H. Using hiking. You don't have to, but I love that that trend has gone that way. Hilly places, happy hikers. Nice one. Okay, our essentials. What do we need when we go hiking? Warm coat and a tent. Good attitude. You absolutely need a good attitude. It's kind of like approaching remote learning. You really need to be agile and practical, and also adaptable. Well done. Water appropriate clothing. Absolutely. Hiking boots, satellite phone, warm and comfortable clothing, water, snacks, sunscreen, first aid kit. I feel like this is Alex. I'm coming camping with you because I wouldn't have thought of half of those things. So I'm not really a practical kind of gal. I'm more of a creative. So I sort of just feel like I'm going to head out the door. But you have definitely wrote a very great list there. Sensible shoes, water, snack, communication. Tell someone where you're going, or have a mobile phone reception. Well, that is super important and great advice. Water, a healthy heart, a hat, wine in a pouch. Love it. Yeah, because you got to relax at some point, don't you? Once you get to the top, what are you going to do? You need to enjoy it with a glass. A warm bed and a bath at the end. Yes, I like your kind of hiking. Absolutely. And I can do it attitude. Yes. A bottle of water, a rucksack, trekking shoes, a raincoat, a bar of chocolate. I love it. Let's jump back into some of these. We won't spend too much. Mountains make minds more meaningful. That's a good one. I like that one. I feel actually very at ease looking at that picture, to be honest. Walking with wisdom. Love it. I love it. Amazing. All right, and we've got hiking with family. How good's that? That's the best. Except for when you've got little kids who complain that they're tired the whole way and then want to run the whole way down. So absolutely, it's always a joyous occasion. All right, it's time to choose our adventure. Now, this is just a page, just a normal page. I actually didn't build this page. I got this page and then just customized it myself. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap these little people, and on the fly, I'm actually going to create a whole class activity. So what I want to do is I want to make it so that you can all choose the shoes and put them on where you'd like to go. So do you want to have a look at how we engage excitement and anticipation in live lessons, or do you want to see how we do it in on-demand lessons? Now, I am conscious of the fact, yep, so grab your boots and pop them on where you'd like to go. Do you want to go to the live lessons, or do you want to head to on-demand and see what they're like? And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to vote, and then we're going to cover both today. But let's you'd like to give. I like that someone's head's up in the clouds. I'd like to be up there too myself, maybe in a plane, traveling somewhere tropical. But I can see our voting is probably pretty even. It's pretty even. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to vote, but we will cover both today. I do want to look at both live and on-demand lessons because they're all equally important. I'm thinking, let's have a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on-demands have it. All right. So we're going to duck to on-demands really, really quickly. Just write down the list because I did not anticipate you wanting to go to on-demands, but that's the joy and beauty of choice and enabling choice in our lessons. All right. And so on-demand lessons look in two different ways. So you've got 100% on demand, which is I have created this lesson and I'm going to post it on your Seesaw or your Google Classroom or your Teams or your learning management system. Could be Canvas, could be Schoolbox, could be whatever. Here's your lesson, do it without me. Or you've got Teacher Live, teacher direction, where you set up the lesson with the students and then you turn it to student pace and allow them to access it on demand. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of different versions of how I do this with my students. I do need to introduce you to someone. Her name is Mrs. B. So I'm just going to really quickly play a YouTube. I'm going to mute it because it's just dramatic music for effect. But this is my virtual teaching assistant, Mrs. B. She looks quite a lot like me. She goes on lots of adventures. But before we went into remote learning, Mrs. B would actually run the lessons every Monday and Friday morning. So she would do my spelling and my handwriting. So she would introduce the spelling focus for the week. She would talk to them about their setup of their day. She would mark the homework on Friday and she would do the spelling test on Friday. I created Mrs. B back in 2008. She came into play when I worked out in Western Sydney. We had a huge school, large ESL student base, and lots and lots of behaviour issues. So the way that I engaged my students and supported my students was I actually automated some of the learning, and I used tech to do that. Now I do that now. So Mrs. B travels, she takes intro videos and exit videos when she travels, and then I actually do the bits in between. I use iMovie just to do their spelling tests and their handwriting. Now, Mrs. B's come into play quite a lot in remote learning. And the reason I'm showing her is that lots of us are doing videos. Lots of us are doing videos for our teacher learning. What I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to actually engage with the students like she's real or like he's real. So in Mrs. B's lessons, she would actually call out the students. She'd go, okay, so I want to see great posture with your devices. Oh, wow, Sarah, I can see the way you're sitting. I love that. And she would actually call out pretty generic compliments to students, but I would get emails from parents saying that they, you know, Sarah loved it. Her name got called out by Mrs. B. She thought it was fantastic. So even these on-demand lessons that were super, super boring were actually super exciting because maybe their name would get called out. And I would do very generic compliments, and that's really important. But she was a great way to engage and actually get the students to feel like she was running a live lesson. So when she's on, she says to them that she's going to record this so they can keep it later. And they can come back and watch the video again if they've missed the spelling, focus, or if they've missed the handwriting ideas. And that way the compliments make sense because they keep repeating. She also makes sure that she builds connections. She calls 2 or 3 students out each day. And then what she says is that she can see all of their remote learning and we act like a team. So for instance, last week we had Theodore, and Theodore shared a picture of his puppy on one of our shouted outs of take a photo of your pet. That was our roll call. And Mrs. B complimented Theodore on his pet puppy and said how cute he was in her follow-up lesson on Friday. So it's like a full circle. Now, it sounds like a lot of work. It's really not. I just do it with my iPhone and put it together on iMovie, and it's pretty stock standard. So she would do, for example, a lesson like this. So she would do the intro and she would pick apart. So we do SSP. So she would pick apart the sounds, double consonant verbs, and she would sound out the sounds, how many sounds they could hear, what sound picks options could we use here, there, and the other, everywhere. And then she would give them this. Now, I can't give this to my students and then expect them to print it out and do it. So I have 3 options, and you can see my recording. If you've got it on your screen, you can actually play and listen to what Mrs. B says. It's exactly the same every week. You can print it out because it's posted on Seesaw. You can actually do it here live because I'll make it a handout for you, or you can just do it in your books and take a photo of it and upload it to Seesaw. So they choose red, orange, or green, and they can do their spelling set. And then for the rest of the week, so I make this on demand. So they've got the video of Mrs. B explaining the spelling activity. They've got the list that they can come back to every time, and then they can play a whole bunch of games based on those spelling activities. Now, I've only given you access to 3. So you can see green spelling word search. So the green list is in here in the word search, and you can see that my students need to go and find the words. And when they do, they obviously highlight it. Now, I've made it really difficult. So you could probably find some yourself, and I can click for a hint if I want, and there's one there. These are my words, and I still don't know where they all are. What am I looking for? Acquitted. Surely that's not hard to find. There we go. Oh, this is really embarrassing. I can't even find one of my words. It's so late and I'm so tired. Hopefully you're finding more than I am. I'm going to leave it because you don't want to see me floundering here. But you can see you can level it. So I've made it really hard, but you can actually make it really simple and medium or really, really difficult. This is a wonderful way that you can build some of these activities. You can see super sort. I do super sorts for them. And this is double consonant when adding ing or just adding ing. So they have to read the root word and then figure out what the rule is for each word. And then, we did match them up as well. So it's the word with the suffix and then the root word so that they know what the root word is. You can do word and meaning, all those types of things. That's just one example. So on demand lesson, I use Mrs. B if she's doing an introduction to flipped learning. So she's doing a topic or a skill or a focus, she's doing it for me. It's Mrs. B, and the students still attend like it's a live lesson, and she still might call out their names, and she will reference something that's happened in the previous week. You don't have to go out and be on adventures. She can have the same setting. I know some of my friends just do it in their desk, and sometimes they dress up, which is cool. And so you don't have to get super elaborate, but just adding that little extra personal twist to it where you're calling out your students' names, giving them compliments, and making it like it's a live lesson is really, really fun. Now, making sure that your remote learning actually integrates with it. Now, you've heard me mention Seesaw, but you can take all of this lesson content and you can put it on Teams, Google Classroom, Seesaw, Canvas, Anywhere where your students get their content, you can take this content, and I'll show you at the end if you like. Whether it's live or on demand, you can make this available on all of your learning platforms. That's really important because there's so many platforms that we're all using, and so many activities, you know, RAS kids, if you're in primary school, or Mathletics and Seesaw and Google Classroom, they're finding their information everywhere. But if you have that one area where you can keep all of that information and the one process for the students to access that content, life is so much simpler and you get less parent inquiries. And so that's why it's really important that this software, or Lumio, integrates with everything that you might use in your classroom or your current classroom ecosystem, which is what we call it. Okay, so sometimes I do on-demand choice boards. So this is a reading reflection on-demand activity, so you can press start on your device. And these are just, I themed it to the Olympics because it's just happened, or it's still happening actually. We've still got our Paralympics happening, and we're doing really well, which is fantastic. It's so inspiring to watch. And so you can see the instructions there. So you can see this one's got the directions, create 3 tasks. You must do 1 bronze, 1 silver, and 1 gold task. Now, my students know that they have to choose their gold card. Like, they can flip them all over and choose which ones they want to do. But let's say, for instance, they choose that and the bronze one. I get my students to do that, screenshot it, upload it to Seesaw. Now I know what activities they're going to do, and they can complete them in Seesaw, and I can mark it in there. Now, if you're using Google Classroom or Teams or LMS, you can absolutely do the same thing. And so I create choice just by using these flip cards, and my students can then interact, play, and choose any activity they want. And again, we're integrating that choice theory. They don't have to do them all, and it's not another tic-tac-toe board, but it's got that interactivity with it. Now, we did speak about tic-tac-toe boards, so I should show you one. I do tic-tac-toe boards. Now, this is a full-blown lesson that I have used. Now, you can't explore this unless I put it on Teacher Paste or Student Paste, which I will do for you. So if you want, you can explore them whilst you're watching me. So this is obviously 8 activities here for my students based on multiplication, on number. So it's a maths choice board. So I'm doing it across the board, just reflecting on some concepts that we've used. Now, I use Seesaw, so I pop in where I want them to post their Seesaw results. So I'm not going to come in and mark all of these. I want them to screenshot it. Now, I actually do an extra step. I've taught my students to collate them on a pic collage, because I want them to create content to post socially, because I'm covering the digital curriculum at the same time I'm doing math. So what I do is I put a little icon, so a Seesaw icon, on each activity that I want them to post, and then when they complete it, they then take that photo, pop it into pic collage with all of the other 5 photos, and then they post that on Seesaw, and I can mark it all in one. Now, you can do this with high school as well. So what you can do is they can click that activity and it takes them to the activities here. Now, as a student, obviously can't see this activity. Some of you may have started it, and you can see Samantha started it. So if we come into Samantha's, you can see that she has, how many ways can you make 50? And again, it's that open-ended activity. So, you know, you might get 49 plus 1, but you also might get some multiplications. You might get some subtractions. And I can see Samantha busy doing it. Thanks, Samantha, which is amazing. And I can come in and I can give Samantha a comment and go, wow, Samantha. There we go. That is awesome. And I can add a little digital sticker as well, because I love my digital stickers, and we're all over the old smiley faces. So I have digital stickers that I'll share with you as well. They're monster stickers. We shared with everyone last week as well. And I might go, oh, you're the leader of the pack. Amazing. Well done, some awesome stickers there. And then she can head off home and do the next activity. So that's the way I use tic-tac-toe. Now, I cannot stress enough to you, I didn't build this. I didn't build this at all. I found this, and then all I did was added the Seesaw images to help my students. I also added a voice command over here to support my students. So when I do on demand, I always add voice commands. That's not me, that's Mrs. B. So Mrs. B coming in hot here, want to teach you today what we're going to do is a maths choice board. I want you to do this, and I give them the instructions. Sometimes I'll read to support the scaffolding for the students. So even though it's on demand, they still have myself or Mrs. B with them, supporting them in their learning. And you can see that's quite a long quite a long lesson. Now, I'm conscious of time. We do want to do some live lesson stuff, so I'm going to jump back to some live lesson stuff. I did have another one where I talked about teacher direction and then pushing it over to the students, but we might do that next week in our part 3 webinar. So if I jump into our live lessons, these are the types of activities that I do in my live lessons, because I have tried to pare it back. I don't want to try and do too much teacher direction in my live lessons. I want to connect. So I do attendance, because that builds everybody coming, and that's right across the board, kindergarten right through to universities is attendance. So building an interactive attendance activity is super important to engage the students right off the bat. They don't switch off, they don't come on, turn their camera off, turn their mic off, and then go and do something else. They know that they're going to be interacting and expected to respond. I also do SEL check-ins. I think that's always super important with our students, regardless of whether it's about how they're feeling or how they're feeling about the subjects that they're learning or the learning that's taking place. Student talk is a big one, because I know that our primary school teachers spend their whole entire lesson going, can everybody go on mute? And our high school teachers begging for any students to come off mute to actually have a discussion. So I really try and encourage student talk in mine, and I'm going to show you ways that I have done that. Building our knowledge or teacher direction. So if we're building a knowledge on a new concept or a certain topic, I want to do that together. And then obviously application and reflection of learning is a big one too. So I'm going to take you through a couple of these examples, and I know I'm going super quick, but again, this is recorded, and I know I haven't shown you how I built these, but this is what we'll do in our Lumio 101 on Friday and again on Tuesday. So student of the week. Now, I selfishly put myself as student of the week today, student of the day, my apologies. There I am. And what I do with this is sometimes this is an SEL or even an attendance, but I let the students know who's going to be student of the day. That says week. Student of the day, sometimes I do weeks, the night before or the day before. So I'll say, Theo is going to be our student of the day tomorrow. Don't forget, bring your ideas and your amazing compliments about Theo and what you love about Theo. And they then come and do their shout out. And their role is that they give a compliment to Theo about his learning or his amazing, friendship. And he's very caring and thoughtful. He's very clever, very good at math. And regardless of whether you're teaching primary or adults, this is a wonderful way to have them connect to each other, connect with you, and also have that SEL, social and emotional cup fill that we want our students to have. And I can't remember what else I was going to say, but no one has put up any lovely compliments. But that's okay, I'm only joking. So that's a nice way. So I use Shout It Out, and I just put their picture up, which is really, really fun. Oh, actually, that's what I was going to say. So not Theo, but one of my little friends last week found out she was going to be student of the week, and I, as a progression of Lumio, hug time, love it, thank you. Oh, you don't have to do it now, but I appreciate it. She was super excited that she was student of the week, that I've actually set up everybody on Lumio. So all of my students are on Lumio and have their own Lumio account because it's free. And it's really, really safe for them to use. And they love creating content. So I wanted to move them from consumers of content to creators of content. So when they learned about something, they were allowed to go and build content that other students were able to play or interact with. So she actually went away and she built a monster quiz about herself that the students would then do after they did our student of the day session. So she thought it was the best. The kids thought it was the best. And it was just such a lovely way to connect. And Luke, thank you. So much energy and enthusiasm in what is presented. Hopefully it's helpful too, Alex. Love creating activities. I do. Acknowledging all responses, remaining positive. Hug time, fabulous, friendly, and love the smile. Oh, thanks. You guys are super fun. And my cup is full. All right, so student talk. Quick question to you guys. What one word that describes what an ideal student conversation looks or sounds like? So just one word that, when you're in class, what's one word that describes really wonderful student talk? What does it sound like? What does it look like? What's a word that describes it? Eye contact, I love it. Enthusiasm, interactive, happy, yes, sometimes it's noisy, it's good noise. So you can see some of those rolling in now. I'll give you a couple more minutes just to pop in some responses. Respective, I can see that one coming in. That's awesome. Wonderful. You guys are super busy. Engaging, interactive. Love it. We're thinking about all of these words. Respectful. They're all coming in. I can list view them if I want. Look at all of these. Looking and listening, happy, eye contact, engage, engaging and inspiring, eye contact, interactive, respectful, chatter, and enthusiastic. Now I can go back to word cloud. Word cloud's my favorite, just because it's a lovely way of coming up, and the kids love a wordle. Now I'm going to end that activity on you. Noisy, yes, it is sometimes. Chatter, yes, it is. Smiles, wonderful, yes. So what I want to do is I want to do an activity that I used to encourage my students about student talk. So you're on a desert island. Oh, let's pretend we're in Cairns. No, we have to be on a desert island. I've given you some contents that you can take with you to this desert island. Now I want you to put it in order of most needed to least needed. Now I want you to think about it, because some of these objects might have useful uses. There's a wig there's some nylon stockings, you can see a glass, a pen, a fork, an orange, a golf club, a funnel, and a pizza box. Now I might put the pizza box in hoping that there's pizza in it, but that might not last me long. That might be, I could be there for a long time. So what could I put in that I think is most needed to least needed? Maybe I change my mind. I want you to pop them in from most needed to least needed. And then what I want you to do is take a mental snapshot of the things that you have put in the top two. So your top two most needed. So in mine, I've got the glass and the fork. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you 30 more seconds to finish that activity and then memorize your top two items. So mine's glass and fork, but yours might be different. And so what I'm going to do is now I want you to justify it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you into teams. So we're going to go into creative or workspace activities. So if you remember from the Lumio 101, if you attend this morning, or if you see it tomorrow on Friday, workspace is where you can have everybody in one activity, or you can break them up into small groups. And we're going to do small groups today. I'm going to make you into 3 teams. So it's pre-populating you into 3 teams. And then what it's going to do is I'm going to start the workspace. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to choose a square, one square in your team. So if I'm in this team, so I can see that my student is in this team. Now I might choose the top square. So someone else in my team might choose the next square. And what I want you to do in your square only is write down your 2 items that you thought were the most needed, your top 2 items. And I want you to tell me why. Why was that item super important? Why is that number 1? Why is this one number 2? Why did you want to take the glass? Why did you want to take the orange? Maybe you took the orange because you needed vitamin C, and you also wanted to save the seeds, plant the seeds and grow an orange tree so that you had oranges for the stay that you were going to be there. Now, I've heard some really awesome ideas from our students on how they're using these items on the island. So I'm really interested to see what your thoughts are. And so I can come into team 1, they haven't started yet. So again, don't forget to use your text box and type into your square your top 2 items and why they're your top 2 items. And then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. And don't forget, there's a couple of socks, smart socks up for grabs, and a very cool coffee mug, and maybe a plushie, depending on how amazing your answers are. And so I'm going to give you a few seconds, but I will give you some ideas that our students use. So the cup, some of them thought we could break it and use it as a knife. Some of them thought that the cup would be good for catching rainwater, which is great. Some of us were using nylon stockings in very interesting ways for fishing and so on and so forth. So I'm going to pop in. Let's see if we're getting any ideas yet. No ideas in team 2 yet. Hopefully we've got some coming in team 1. We do, orange, so have food and drink and don't get scurvy. Great idea, great idea. Cup for the orange juice and water. I love it. Now, if you're in team 1 and you had an idea, oh, the golf club, I love it. Parting bushes. It's a great idea. I didn't think of that. Now, I'm going to show you these icons, right? So you've got 2 jobs in here. You had to tell me your top 2 items and then why. But now you have to read your team's ideas, and then you need to use these little badges up the top. Now, the question badge is if you have a question. So wig for sun protection, I might want to ask how that wig is going to keep you sun protected. If I want to explore this one further, so, the golf club one, I actually feel like we need to explore this further. So I'm going to pop a magnifying glass on this idea because I want to explore that further. If I really love an idea, I might put my love heart. So I'm putting it on someone else's idea, not mine, but someone else's ideas. If I want to build on that idea, oh, I love this. The scurvy is a really good one. So I'm going to take the orange too, but I want to use the seeds and plant it so I've got an orange tree so I don't get scurvy for the entire time. So that's my builder's hat. I want to build on your idea. And shuckers, if you totally agree, and that was the same idea as mine. So I want you to give feedback to your team around their ideas. And I love this because, whoa, I'm sorry, I'm moving some things here. Gum so I don't get cavities. Nice one. So you can use your icons. I'm going to pop into each team and see some of our ideas that are coming up. And so we can see golf club, hit spiders, snakes, fish, and birds, or other things that might hurt me. Oh, I like it. Fork, spearing and tearing dead spiders, snakes, birds, and fish. Nice. So you're gonna hunt, and then you're gonna prepare. Glass to start fire. Well, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. So you would get the light coming into the glass, and you would use the reflection to actually start a fire. It's really good thinking. You must be a science teacher. Dig and get water. Great one. Nylons to filter water. String between sticks as a net. Nice one. Some really great ideas. I'm loving that. And someone has even said, I really love this idea. So this idea came from Angela. Angela, you've been a superstar today, actually. I've seen lots and lots of content from you. So, Kendall, can you make sure that Angela gets a pair of smart socks, please? And Tracy's loving this idea in your team. She loves this idea. She had the same idea, which is awesome. She was thinking along the same lines. Let's see how team 2's going. Golf club and stockings. Love it. So we've used the pen tool here. So you can also use your text if you want, but if you want to use your pen, go for it. Well done. Golf club and stockings. I love it. And we'll just come back to team 1 and have a really quick look. Gun so I don't get, someone wants to question that one. Dawn wants to question that one, Samantha. And so what we could do is if we had time is I could let Samantha come off mute. She might talk about her reasoning. Dawn might question her. And this is a really great way to start student talk, right? But then what I do is I run a shout it out. So we need to share, defend, and build and adjust. So what we would do is we would talk about, have our ideas changed since seeing other people's ideas? Did I have to defend my idea, and am I sticking to it? So someone questioned my idea and I had to think about it and reflect on it, and am I sticking to it? Or am I changing my idea? Am I adjusting my idea? Or has someone convinced me that I should have taken something else? I don't want to take the orange anymore. I think I really like the idea of the glass because I didn't think about the cutting. I didn't think about the starting of the fire. It has so many uses. I actually probably want to change my idea to the glass. So we could allow them to have a shout it out. I'm thinking of calling my dentist. Angela, very good. Because we're going to learn golf club used for hunting. So someone has picked up an idea from a friend, which is awesome. Stockings to sieve water liquid using the funnel. Yep, absolutely. So maybe some of us have changed our ideas because we've seen other friends come up with an idea. Maybe we had to defend our idea, which is a really great way. So I'm using these activities to encourage that student talk. Because it is hard to get them to come off mute when they're in high school. Again, building knowledge. If I'm talking about forces and we've done a bit of an introduction, I might turn this into a whole class activity and they might go away and research. So I call it combined research notes. So sometimes when I do this in a face-to-face class, I get my students to go away and research, and then they can come up and write their favorite fact or their favorite piece of research in the bubble, and then we build a whole class research on the particular topic. You can do this in remote learning. So I can have my students tell them, tomorrow we're learning about forces. I want you to go away and I want you to come up with 1 or 2 amazing facts about forces that you're going to share in our combined research notes. And so what I would do is I would turn this into a workspace, which is exactly what you saw me do. I put everyone in one class. My students are expected to use the text tool and then write their fact in there. And then that way they're having participatory role in creating the knowledge of that particular topic or that new topic. So I'm not just standing here talking, it's my students that are sharing their knowledge. And I don't talk, I let them come off mute and they talk about their fact and how they found it and what that means. Cavities are bad, we're still on the dentist, we're looking at forces. Very, very good. Okay, and then application and parts of speech. So this is a live lesson that I would run. So we would have learnt about, I did a flipped learning video on parts of speech for my students. They would have watched it. They played a whole bunch of games on parts of speech, and now we're applying that knowledge. So I'm doing a quick comprehension activity for my students to do. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do parts of speech revision. So pupil A or student A is going to be the determiner. Student B is going to be adjective, student C is going to be the noun, and student D is going to be the verb. And what you need to do is you need to come up with a word and pop it in. So a word that is an adjective or a word that is a noun or a word that is a verb if you are that student. So what I would do is I would then give them an example. So student A has come up with 6, student B has come up with black, student C has come up with cats, and student D has come up with purring. So 6 black cats purring. And so we have created a sentence using parts of speech. And again, I would turn that into a collaborative workspace, which is group work. So I would turn that into small groups, and my students would then write their name on the student or the student that they're going to assume. So are they going to be A, B, C, or D? And then they have to come up with 6 words that are verbs, or 6 words that are adjectives, or 6 words that are nouns or determiners. And they can make their sentences, which becomes quite a fun project because we get some funny, silly sentences. And then finally, this is the most requested activity of all time in my remote lessons, which is the monster quiz. So you can do this, you can do an adult version of this. We use this for trivia. We also use response for trivia. So if you're teaching adults, response is a great way to use as trivia or knowledge building or knowledge reflection. And so this activity, I'm going to divide everyone into teams. We're going to do it just as a quick fun finisher. I'm going to pop you into teams. The winning team gets socks, all of you. Are you ready? On your marks, get set, go. So what you've got going on here is you've got 6 topical questions. So we did the Olympics. And oh, Nadine is off to a flying start. Well done. Tracy, again, amazing. Angela, Isla, Taylor, Samantha, amazing. Freezer burners still off to a rocky start. But this is a wonderful activity that my students love. Now, they love creating this as much as they love interacting with it, and they love it because it's competition, it's interaction, it's engagement, and it's fun. And I run these live because I commentate, and they love it. They love hearing their names when I get it right. They love the anticipation of, oh my gosh, it's super close. And it really gets them into, you can hear them cheering, and I'm sure their parents are like trying to keep it down because they're working as well. But this is one activity that they really, really do love. And it's all about games and interaction. And this surmises everything, all of that. So we're coming up to the last minute of our hour. I can see that some of us are getting there. I'm going to have to, and Freezer Burners are making a huge comeback, by the way. Well done to Freezer Burners and the team in there. I think the socks are motivating a lot of people. We've got lots of ticks, which is great. Learning about the Olympics. There's a few curly ones in there, actually, about when women were allowed in Olympics and the first Olympic Games. Don't get caught on that one. Crate crushers are in the front. Nadine, you are leading from the front there, my friend. Dawn smashing it out as well. Tiffany, well done. Blizzard Blast is almost out. We've got a bit of a stall on the Blizzard Blasters, the Freezer Burners. We're stuck. Maybe we've got a few people that have buffered out and haven't been able to finish, so we're going to end the activity there. Blizzard Blasters, well done. I'm going to review that. If you were on Blizzard Blasters, please pop your name in the shout out that we're about to do. I can pop into our class reviews. We can really look at how we went and really evaluate the questions. So it's not just fun. We can actually go through and look at the answers and how we've answered them. And I can go back to our team scores. Now, Freezer Burners, you were very, very close. Same with Crate Crushers. Oh, well, they were actually similar times. So well done, team. Okay, now, finally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick shout out. So if you've seen some ideas here today of how you might apply it in your classroom, or if you've got any comments, or if you've got any questions that you want me to go over in our Lumio 101, please feel free to pop them in the comments and questions. Nadine and Dawn, for that extra special effort there in the Monster Quiz and throughout every single activity that we've actually done today, you're going to get some coffee mugs, some smart coffee mugs. They are super fun and magic. When you pop your coffee in there, something happens. It's pretty special. So if you've got time, if you've got questions, please pop them in the chat. If you've got any ideas on how to use a workspace or how to use a handout or how to use gamification, please pop it in the ideas, and we're happy to write it up and send it out to everybody and share those ideas. Don't forget these questions, or this recording is coming to you. I love coffee mugs. Wink. On your Tiff. I love sharing this with other teachers. Yes, this is super fun. Great lesson today. Thanks so much, Tiff. That's amazing. You are definitely in for a coffee mug as well. Thank you for getting involved. It's amazing. Great webinar, clear and complete. You're clear, concise, encouraging, tech savvy. No wonder you're in education. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh, lots of comments. Thanks so much. Monster Quiz, Blizzard team, Tracy, socks are a great prize. Thanks. Yes, if you were one of our winners in the Blizzard team, please pop your name in ideas so we know and can remember, because I didn't write your names down and I should have. So if you were in the Blizzard team and you did win, can you pop your name in the ideas and we will get in contact with you. I can see some questions popping up, which is awesome. Thanks, Angela. So many great ideas, very exciting. Oh, it's so much fun. Can we add responses using pictures? Yes, you can. And I'm happy to quickly show you this. So what I'm happy to do is let everyone jump off if they want to, and anyone that wants to stick around to see me answer the questions, please feel free to stick around. I'll answer the questions, but I'll keep the recording going. So if you want to see them later, you can, and you can fast forward them. Discussion creators and choice boards were encouraging. Yes, they are, and they're so effective with the kids, so effective with the students and your adults that are getting involved in your lessons as well. So how can you use pictures to put in responses for, yes, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the questions filter through. I'm going to give it one more minute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you. So both of our questions are around responses and how you add images. So I definitely will show you that after our questions have filtered in. I'll give them one more minute, 4:20, and then feel free, if you don't want to stick around, drop off. Thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. You've got 2 more weeks of term left. You can do it. Even if you just add a few spicy things into your lessons, I'm definitely trying the food, the cooking on Friday. Absolutely. That's being injected into my lesson immediately, although I am a terrible cook. So it could go disastrously wrong, but absolutely, that's a great idea. I love it. But if you've seen some ideas here today and you want to inject them into your lessons, absolutely do it. Pop a couple in once a day or once every couple of days, and you'll see the difference in yourself and in your students, because it's building those connections and it's building those special moments that we cherish so much in class. So I highly encourage you to get out there and have a go. And if you want to, please feel free to join our Lumio 101 session on Friday at 1 o'clock. Or on next Tuesday at 3:15, and that will come out with an email shortly where you can register. All right, I can see a couple more questions coming through. Is there more basic learning for adult online learning? Absolutely. So if you want to email us, Tiff, I'm seeing that come through from you. No, I'm not seeing that from you. My apologies. Tristan, You're the coffee mug lover. I'm going to get you a coffee mug. Now, Tristan, yes, there is basic learning. Can you email me? I will pop my email back up on the screen, or email info@smarttech.com, and we can set up some adult training for you. Absolutely. It will be a lot slower than this. It will be nice basic training, Lumio 101 customized to you, so that we can support you in that. Absolutely. And so email us or pop your email in the chat, Tristan, and Kendall will grab it and we'll contact you after. Students need their own account to interact like we did today, ? Or just join a class with a code. So they have to join a class with a code. If they're face-to-face, no, they don't. They can interact on the board. My preps to twos, we have 1 to 3 device ratio. So 1 device per 3 students. I encourage that. I actually discourage 1-to-1 devices in the lower years because it encourages device-elation, which is exactly what we don't want. We don't want our students on headphones, on their device, not interacting with anybody. What we want them to do is actually build those entrepreneurial skills like communication, like collaboration, like cooperation, problem solving, having to share one device between 3 friends or 2 friends. How are we going to do that? So I encourage you to either use these activities on the board because that builds kinesthetic learning. So they have to run up to the board, their names come out of a sorting hat. So it's slightly different when you use it on the board because you get sorting hats and everything where you can pull the names of the students out of the hat. They can run up to the board, they can have their go, and they can high five the next person and sit down. So you're building that kinesthetic movement in there. Oh, thanks, Tristan. You popped it in there. Or you can get them to join on devices. But either way, if you're getting them to join on a device, they have to use your class code. So when you set up your Lumio account, you'll get your class ID, and that's the code that they type in. And that it doesn't matter what device it is, laptop, iPhone, or normal phone, doesn't matter, or a handheld device like an iPad, you can use that to get them to join. When I scroll through the pages on a collaborative workspace activity, it asks my students to click resume each time. Is there a way around this? Yes. No. So you would push to student paste. Oh, which I realized that some of you weren't following me. I'm so sorry because I had you on teacher. See, this is my brain not working on a Monday. So I apologize for those people that got left behind when I was turning the page. But when you turn it to student paste, what it does is it registers what they've done. And then if they change page, it will automatically save what they've done essentially. And then when they go back, they have to click resume. Now, if you've got older students and and you want them to continue this on after the lesson, my advice to you is to get them to sign in at the start rather than join as guest. Get them to sign in because it will register exactly what they've done and they can go back and continue on with that. If they've joined as guest and they join as guest each time, it'll register them as a new student. So if you get them to sign in with their email address and password, which let's be honest, anyone from prep right through to adult education is now very competent in signing in with an email and password. You can get them to sign in that way, and that will actually register all of their work. And when they go away from the lesson and they come back, it'll actually, when they sign in again, it'll go, oh, you're back. Here's your work. So definitely do that. I would love some adult learning info too, please. Well, Ange, send me your email address and we'll get some training for you. How did you get the choices to hyperlink? So Dawn, great question. That's more advanced one. So that multiple choice. So let me show you. So we're going to do some response. We are going to basic learning. I would like to register for the Friday class. How do I do this? Don't fret, Alex. The Lumio email is coming out to you shortly, so you can register for that. Can we set up the activity with the link? Then students can access it anytime. Yes, you can. All right. So I'm going to do sharing. I'm going to do hyperlink, and I'm going to do response. Let's do response first. So I'm going to end the lesson. And I apologize for those 15 of you who've all stayed on. Look at you go, you superstars. And again, typical of me, over again, Kendall's shaking her head, I can feel it. So we're going to go into add activities. If you've uploaded a PDF, so here you can see I'm going to do a really quick Lumio 101 here. You can upload PDF, PowerPoint, Notebook, or Google Slides. using import resources. You can also import pages from other lessons. So you can put lessons together inside of here. If you're searching for a lesson, for example, let's answer your question on the hyperlink. If you don't want to build it, and you can find ones that have it already in, I'm going to search multiplication, and then a whole heap of content is going to come up. And there is the multiplication choice board shortly here. Hang on, let's go choice board. HOICE board, choice board. All right, so you can see heaps of choice boards here. There's the Olympic one, it's shared. So if that's something that you want, you go, oh, that's a good idea. That's actually not the choice board that I used, is it? So let's find my choice board that I did. Oh, okay, so these are other choice boards. So this is a label reveal, and it reveals the actual choice that they could choose. So you can use that one as well. And let me find it. It's hiding. Look at all these choice boards. So many teachers have been building such amazing content. Let me see. Mathematics. Math choice. Let's go with that and see if I can find it. Oh my goodness, I've told you that I can do it, and I am looking for it everywhere. Maybe it's in Smart Exchange. Now, Smart Exchange is the other area or place you can find it. So I'm just going to show you really quickly. Smart Exchange. There it is there, exchange.smarttech.com. And then we can go to, this is a huge repository of resources. Now, this is something that we normally do in Lumio 101, but I will show you this. So, oh, there you go. Look, there's a summer choice board ready. So we've got featured. You can search for the topic if you want, or the year level, or the subject, and you can see there's so much content. There's a lot of primary on the front page, but there is a lot of senior school stuff here and language content as well. But let's go into this choice board, right? The hyperlinks are built in. So Dawn, it's a more of an advanced lesson, and it's built in Notebook, if I'm being honest. So the link is actually built in Notebook because the app, the tool is not available in Lumio yet. So you actually have to link it in Notebook and then upload it. And I'm happy to show you one-on-one how to do that. But if you just want to find content like this one, this maths choice board is pretty cool. Again, it's the same concept as the other maths choice board that I've got. You can download it if you want, or just save to Lumio. And if you're familiar, Dawn, with Notebook, all you do on an object is right-click, link to, and then page in this notebook. And then that's exactly how you build the link. But not familiar with Notebook, that's perfectly fine. Don't build it yourself. Just customize one that someone else has built. So what I've done is I've gone, great, this is an awesome resource. I want to use this. I want to set it up for my class. So what I can do is I'm actually setting it into here, and you can see it's importing already for me. So I didn't do anything, I just went and found it. I thought it was awesome, so I'm going to import it into my library. And while that's doing that, I'm actually going to quickly show you how to set that in. I think one of the questions was response. So let's go and have a really quick look at response. So if I wanted to do a response, here it is here. I'm going to click response, and then it comes up with your 5 different types of choices. So if you're doing multiple choice, so say I'm doing the sound S, and I want them to pick the picture that has the S sound. All I do is go picture, and I'm going to do, you can pull images from your desktop if you want. I'm lazy, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do dog. And then, oh, there's a cute dog. Maybe I'll do cartoon dog. There we go, cute puppy dog, done. Okay, so there's a puppy. Let's go with tree, and I'm going to do cartoon tree. And, oh, that's a nice tree. I'm going to pick that one, and then let's do a snake. Oh, let's do cartoon snake. Let's keep in theme, Beck. Love it. Oh, there he is, cute snake. That one's probably more of a snake. You could probably be forgiven for thinking the other one was a worm. Okay, and then what I would do is I would put the answer on C, and that's it. And if you wanted to put a question, an image in the question, you can actually put an image in there as well. So I'm going to say lettuce and done. And there's my, and that's how you add the questions, the pictures to the questions. And you can do that in all of them. So regardless of whether true or false, you can add the picture in the question. Multiple answer, you can add it for all of the answers if you want. Obviously, the poll and opinion, you can as well. So you can ask them this or that, or would you rather. That's really great. So choice boards can become overwhelming. So if you give them two choices, great idea. So you can give them a this or that or would you rather. And I've seen it done in PE and art and science and maths. It's great. Or short answer. And again, you can pop it in the question. So you can pop images in to all of the questions in response. Now let's pop back to our home. Oh, there it is. It's ready to go. Now mine's not ready because I actually want to customize it. So I'm going to go to edit. Like you saw before, I'm a Seesaw user. So I like to pop my Seesaw logo on to the activities that I want them to screenshot. So the easiest way to do that is simply by going to images, going to the Bing Safe Search. All of the images fall under the Creative Commons licenses, so are free to use. And all I do is search for what I want, and that's the one I want. So I minimize that, and here's a little time saver tip. If you want to use this image a couple of times, I'm just going to infinitely clone it. And then I'm going to pull it down onto all the tasks that I want them to do. And then I lock them in place. I always lock them in place because the students will move them, guaranteed. So lock them in place. And then I take infinitely cloned off because I don't want them to infinitely clone them, and pop more on. And then I lock it. Happy days. And that's done. So if you wanted to, though, you can edit all of this. So you can see that it's going to go there. So what you can do is if you can stop it from, it's going to do the link. So you can change it, but you've got to click on it in the right spot. There we go, unlock. And then what you can do is you can actually ungroup it because it'll be a group. And then you can completely change out the activity. So I can completely delete, let's undo that. I can completely delete that because and change it around if you wanted to. But I would only do that if I downloaded it into Notebook and wanted to change the activities, but I wanted to use this as a template. So I would download it to my desktop, and in Notebook I would change it and customize it. And then you can link to page. So you right click onto this object on Notebook, you link to page, and then you link it to whatever page it is. So that's how I customize these choice boards. Hopefully that has helped and answered your question. But again, there's training here in Lumio already. There's some explore resources. So there's ready-made resources already for you to use immediately, which is where I found most of my content. So I love coming in here. You can see heaps of content in fractions, reading and writing content, and then sight words and phonics. So I really appreciate your time today. I am conscious of time and the fact that we've gone well and truly over. I really, really appreciate everything. Kenny, is there any questions in the chat that I haven't answered yet?
No, it's all good. They came through on the shout it out, so that everything has been answered. I'll just do another
You're
triple
on mute.
check.
I can't hear you, but I'm assuming
I'm not on mute. Oh no.
Oh, if there is a question, Nadine, you do actually have access to Smart Notebook. If you are in New South Wales, absolutely, it is on your portal. It has just been updated. So it's now Notebook 20 instead of Notebook 11. So you definitely do have access to Notebook. And if you need help, reach out, we'll help you.
Can you hear me back?
And if there's any questions that I haven't covered, I will get in contact with you. All of our winners will get in contact with you, and Tristan and I believe it was Angela and Alex. Angela will get in contact with you about the adult training, and keep your eye out for the Lumio email. But I hope to see you next Friday, and if I don't, have a wonderful week and an enjoyable rest of the term. Thanks everyone. See you later.